So every person I talk to talks about how quickly time seems to be moving, how much more they have to do in a day. They have work and family, raising kids, soccer practices, deadlines. I think it's no surprise that we find ourselves driving when we're a little bit more tired than we should be while driving. Tell me a bit about fatigue.
Well, we all have a clock in us. It's our clock that sets our sleep mechanism, basically. And it's like a bank. And if you get sleep deprived, then you have to replenish that account. And the only way to replenish it is to go to sleep. So if you're driving and you actually have one of those moments where you shake your head, you've been out for about 3 seconds. What you need to do is basically stop the vehicle and go to sleep, even if it's for only 20 minutes, to recharge your battery so that you can continue the trip to get to a place that's safe to do. And part of the reason that we're seeing so many collisions lately, we believe, is directly related to people falling asleep at the wheel and being involved in collisions. That's the only way to explain the majority of these single vehicle collisions, unless they're suicides. Then there are people falling asleep at the wheel, and everybody is doing it.
What about the myth that I'm just going to stop for a cup of joe, I'm going to pull into the Tim's and, get me a double-double?
Well, caffeine's a stimulant, so what might happen is that you'll get a little burst. But if you're sleep deprived, then the only thing that's going to replenish that is sleep. Unless you're taking, narcotics, amphetamines, and other things that you shouldn't be taking. But sleep deprivation is only corrected with sleep. And the times that it's worst are when it's at night and it's dark and your body's telling you should be sleeping, or usually in the afternoon between 2 and 4, when everyone's circadian rhythm's at its lowest, when people do need sleep around that time, if they're sleep deprived. So it's a major problem, but nobody talks about it.
Well, let's actually go to the audience and find if there are any questions or comments about fatigue. And I can imagine that everyone's experienced it at some time. Does anyone have any comments or questions about it?
Dr. Liu, how does fatigue affect reaction time?
Good question. At the best of times, it takes 1.6 seconds. 1.6 seconds to see, decide, and react. Okay, so the see, decide, react cycle, when something happens, takes 1.6 seconds if you're fully awake and fully alert. So you can imagine if you're traveling, even at the top speed limit of 110 kilometers an hour, 1.6 seconds means you've traveled a great distance. And so if you're happening on a road that has a curve and you're fatigued and a deer comes out or a moose comes out, very realistic situations for workers out in the field, anything that reduces your reaction time will increase the likelihood that you'll be involved in a collision. So if you're speeding, if you're fatigued, and the situation presents itself, then fatigue can reduce your reaction time by obviously up to 100%, but incrementally depending on how tired you are.
Dr. Liu, I'm a supervisor and I have several people that work for me that their job is to drive throughout our business unit and check on crews, and they're in the construction. We promote pulling over and having a nap if you're tired.
But it's very progressive as a supervisor to tell people, listen, if you're exhausted, for heaven's sakes, pull over, it's okay. The company believes that safety is the #1 priority, and if you're too tired to drive, pull over and get the nap that you need. It's okay.
I want to talk a little bit about people that, and there are a number of people here that drive for a living or drive in the field or supervise people that drive in the field. And I just have a question about using, I think they're called like wake-ups, or those little things you can take when you're just a little bit tired. Is that going to impair you? Are you going to be safe driving a motor vehicle if you're doing those little pick-me-ups that are legal?
Yeah, I don't know enough about them, but if you're at the stage where you need a pick-me-up, you're really at the stage where you need sleep. So it comes right back to, don't look to solve a problem with another drug. Look to solve a problem with what nature's telling you need, which is sleep, which is free and has no side effects.